All right, so week one of building a life insurance agency to 1 million a month. Now, I'm not new to business, and so I'm expecting from myself a lot more than any life insurance agent that is brand new would expect from himself, obviously, as I'm coming in with a lot of experience, and I've already made a couple $1 million in my career, mainly in online education, marketing agency, business models, etc. Now, with that being said, I'm going to document this journey for you guys so that both my agents and anybody watching this is going to be able to pick up all the lessons that I learned along the way. Okay. Now, I've really been kind of half in for a longer period than this 1 week, but this week is where I really started to actually sell myself, right? And the reason for that is because I'm foreign, right? I'm not American, and so it took me some time, some additional time to get all my papers in order to legally be able to do all of this and, actually be able to start selling myself, right? And that really was the first lesson that I'll share with you, right? Because the past couple months I was doing this, but I was really, partnered with a guy that is actually selling insurance, and then me, recruiting the people, him trying to, it doesn't work, okay? You can't get fancy here. You can't try to think that you can outsource everything from the start. You're gonna have to, if you truly want to build an agency long term, you can't just rely on other people. You're gonna have to go through the grind yourself. What one friend of mine told me, who's also successful in the space as well, is listen, your downlines, your agents, okay, will essentially do double, or let's put it like this, they'll do 50% of all the positive shit that you do. So the amount of hours that you work, the amount of deals that you close, whatever, and they'll do 200% double of whatever bad shit you do, right? And so you got to be dialed yourself in this business. And this is a very confrontational business, like this is kind of business that essentially functions like a mirror, because the businesses I was in previously, you can still hide behind a social media trend. You can hide behind a, a bit of luck, to be honest. You can hide behind some creative thinking, whatever. What I mean by that is, like, you can argue like, okay, I'm not putting in a lot of grind now because I'm being more creative and trying to make this one video that's going to blow everything up, whatever, right? In info, in social media, whatever. In insurance, it's very confrontational because you essentially only have one thing to do, and that's dial the motherfucking phone, right? And then obviously, yes, social media is a part of it, recruiting agents is a part of it, and onboarding and training those is a part of it. But even that is very simple, right? Everything is extremely simple. Now, this business is a really tough skin kind of business, right? You're going to have to make a fuck ton of dials, right? And you're going to have to go through a lot of no's. You're going to have to deal with agents leaving, right? So, for example, I had an agent leave that I really trained up, and my partner, right, really trained up within the specific insurance game, right, sales. But this guy ended up leaving, right? And then another guy, and then he rolls you debt, right? And those are very real scenarios in the insurance game. It's not all upside, right? There's a lot of risk, there's a lot of downside to this business, and a lot of people fall out. And you got to be with the right people, you got to be with the right agency that's actually going to support you through all of that. Now, with that being said, that's another lesson, right? When I started this journey, I really was like, okay, I'm gonna really like, get into a position where I'm very independent. I'm not gonna like join all these groups and connect with these other people. I got business experience. I can do this all, right? I'm better than all these people. And look, that honestly is just bullshit ego and is stealing from yourself, right? Because that really, shortens your learning curve. Whether you think you're better than people or not, like, there is something to be said for being delusionally confident and for being somewhat narcissistic where you think you're amazing, but you also got to be a realist at the same time. It's a fine line, right? And so that's another mistake that I made, where we were just very closed off from everything else, and the resources are there, right? So why not learn? Why not be in the community, be in it? Because it's always these small nuggets that you pick up from people, that really help you on your journey. So anyway, that is massive. Like, you can't go into this with an ego thinking you know it all, because you're going to get your fucking ass kicked. And you're going to be like, oh shit, I actually do need help. I actually do need people that will show me the ropes, because otherwise, once again, it's a really tough business. Like, this is a business for you. It's essentially a personal development business, right? This is a business where you're going to have a mirror, because it's all up to you, right? It's very, very simple. Like, if you start out and you're going to be an agent starting out, right? You get leads, you get a script, you fucking call the leads, and you sell deals, right? You put policies through. There's not a lot of variables to making this work except for your work hours, and then the amount of leads that you get, and then obviously the skill that you have. Now, the skill that you have comes down to the training, and then your awareness and being coachable, and looking at yourself and what you can do better, right? And then the last kind of variable is lead quality, right? You have lead volume, lead quality. Now, what's more important is lead volume, right? You're going to have to make lower quality, lower intent leads work first, so that you're trained up, so that you can do that with low risk, because a $2, $1, 50-cent lead that you fuck up on because of a skill issue hurts a lot less than a fucking $30, $40 fresh lead, right, that you fuck up on and you lose that deal, right? So then you can go in the negative way more quick, okay? So you want to start there. And personally, in my agency, I help people out when they start out. Obviously, this is a business. You got to fucking expect that you're going to come in and you're going to fucking invest in the leads. But I do help my guys out. It's the wolvesofinsurance.com. If you want to find out more information, wolvesofinsurance.com. Without the "the" part, okay? wolvesofinsurance.com. I'll link it in the description anyway. And I have a longer video as well there that explains a lot of stuff. And so, like I said, I've been at this for kind of 54 months, because I was running my other business still, and I was like, listen, I'm going to fully commit to this, okay? Because I see the potential here, because I see that you can really sell your business for a big check, because I made over 6 figures a month cash, right? Profit in my last company, but it's not something that was going somewhere. Like, I couldn't sell it down the line, and I'm not building an asset that I can truly, decentralize, that is not just based on myself and therefore sell at some point, which this absolutely is, right? And you can take it step by step. It's very simple, okay? You start with learning how to sell. Then you start making 10, 20, 30, even 40, 50K a month profit, okay? And then from there on, you start teaching others how to sell, right? Your buddies first, family first, like whatever it may be, okay? That's people that see you on social media, and now you're like having freedom. Now you're making a lot of money. And they're like, hey, what are you up to? What do you do? And then you bring them into the business. You don't get paid. In some agencies, you get paid for recruiting or whatever. That's a pyramid scheme, okay? That's bullshit, because you only want to get paid when your people get paid, not when they pay, not when they spend their money, right? So for me personally, like, I only get paid with my agency if my people are actually making money, not if they're spending it. So I don't make money off leads. I don't make money off licensing, coursework, or whatever. We actually buy the coursework for you, all of that kind of stuff. I just make money when they actually are producing and actually making money themselves, right? And so I love that model, because back in the day, I used to sell programs and courses and coaching, and always people would ask me like, oh, this is 5K, this is 10K. Can I just come in for free and pay you a percentage of whatever I earn? I was like, no. And the reason I didn't do that is because then you're going to have a lot of people that are not committed. And to be fair, that is absolutely true. And I also think there's absolutely nothing with selling courses for like a paid program. But it is beautiful, this structure where I now actually can do that, because I automatically get the money from the insurance carrier once you start making money. And that's the whole point, right? Look, I'm here to make fucking money, okay? But the way that I do that is making you fucking money, okay? And I love to do that. For 2 reasons. Number one, because I love to actually help guys that were in a similar position as me before, right? And some girls that we have on the team as well. And, I make money with it as well, okay? On a long-term basis. So it starts out with me investing a ton into you, and then over time, you get like good, and then my investment goes down a little bit, I make more, right? So in the beginning, I'm losing, and then obviously I'm winning, and you're winning as well. So that's how the whole business works, okay? Now, then in terms of selling, like I said, it's my first week selling, okay? I've been dialing. I still had some other things to wrap up, some other things with other company, etc. And guys, as I was watching this video back, I wanted to add in, this week, I just wasn't locked in enough. Let's keep it a buck. Did I have some other shit going on still with the company, with my visa stuff, with whatever? Sure. But like, those are excuses, right? Like, I should have been more locked in. I should have been more on my dialing schedule. I didn't put in enough reps. I didn't put in enough time to actually close more deals. So I wanted to add that back into the video because what I'm doing there is really bullshit, to be honest. You know, it's really saying, and it's not even like I already knew that right after I recorded the video, and then I was like taking it through a quick edit and finding this point where I said this, where I'm saying like, oh yeah, I had some other things to wrap up. Shut the fuck up, bro. You just didn't put in enough work. And if you had other shit to wrap up, then you got to work double, right? I didn't do enough to hit my goal or to like set an amazing example. And now I got to take accountability for that publicly in my YouTube video, right? I can't bullshit around. So I wanted to add this in here real quick because that's honestly just fucking bullshit. And this is my accountability to say, yeah, I didn't do well enough, okay? This week is going to be better, and I'll share that with you next week. And I'm going to be just bluntly honest, you know, because that's how it's got to be. You know, there's so many people that try to be perfect online and on social media and hide the bullshit. Let's get the bullshit out. I didn't work hard enough, simple. And that's confrontational, and we can name 1,000 reasons, right? For me, I'm like, okay, I'm used to working on high leverage activities, and now I actually got to go through the grind of dialing fucking aged leads and shit because I want to set the example, because I got to do it just so I can lead people better, right? It's not for the money for me, okay? I can fucking spend 20K on leads or whatever if I want to, but it's not about that. It's about me going through the process so that I can help other people go through the process. So anyway, I wanted to add that in, and also to the reason why I'm doing this process, because once again, I try to kind of circumvent that process because it's not, I've already had that process back in the day, okay, when I first started my company, cold calling, when I was 18 years old, which was a marketing agency after I dropped out of high school, but that's besides the point. Wanted to add this in, let's get back to the video. So I've been able to be full time, closed one deal this week, okay, was, what was it, almost $600 AP, but it's a cool business, right, because I bought some leads, and then 1 hour later I closed that deal, and then from there, 1 day later, I got paid because the deal was effective the day after, okay? You do want to line up those payments with their social security check, right, for the final expense leads. But his check was actually had just hit that day. So I could just actually go into effect the next day, which was fantastic. So it can go quick, right? So you buy some leads, you make some money, and then you reinvest. And that's kind of how you want to do it. That's the game, okay? But you got to really treat the first period as like learning. Even for someone like me, I have a ton of sales experience. I've closed millions of dollars, okay? But it's a different kind of game, right? Every game is a little different, but the principles remain the same. But you got to really come into it with a fresh, clean slate. And then you got to understand that the first weeks, it's just going to be learning, dude. Like, you're going to have to learn how to write applications. You're going to learn insurance lingo. You're going to have to learn by doing. Now, obviously, within my agency, because I'm partnered with someone who obviously has sold insurance for a long time, right? We have a whole pre-built course, right, that gives you everything, but and the scripts and right everything you need to know. But you're still going to learn the most by actually doing it, right? Because you got to get it into your nervous system. You got to get it into your emotional system. And so that's this week, guys. Now, I also onboarded a couple new agents this week. And if you're asking and wondering, like, hey, how can this guy onboard new agents when he just started actually selling himself? The reason for that is that I set it up with this structure with my buddy actually, who I met, who introduced me to this industry, right? And then we kind of partnered up to where, he also is there to train my people, etc., whilst I'm still getting ramped up myself, right? And you want to have a situation like that for yourself when you're going to start your own agency, if you want to, where you have, an upline, as they call it, or an agency that you join, where the owner, let's say, for example, me in the Wolves of Insurance, has a structure where there's already pre-built training, all the systems are there, what leads to buy, how many to buy, a vault of leads that your agents can use to some extent, right? You want to have your own responsibility. You don't want to be dependent on someone for everything, but at the same time, you want to have a situation where you do get a lot of value as well, right, from your agency. And then they're going to also, most importantly, be in a Zoom room where they train your agents, right? And they're going to be able to actually get them support. So, like I said, here's some of my agency. I'll show you everything transparently. Let's see if we can turn this around. So as you can see, this is the weekly leaderboard. And then from there, you can see that a lot of people are closing very well. And this week was honestly not even the biggest week. We have some other weekly leaderboards that are a lot better. As you can see, we got Cameron with 18K, Nick with 11K, Brianna 10K, Andreas 10K, Hayes 6K, Leo 5K, Nicolette 3K, Julian $800, right? So as you can see, that's kind of how it works. And then we have our general chat where everybody's always posting, you know, we even have a comedy chat. We have a better everyday chat, which is just posting wins and stuff like that. And then, you know, there's various trainings throughout the week. And that's kind of how it works, right? You want to have a Discord like that where you're going to have support and your people can come in and join that agency. And then from there, get that support from your, the person who trains you. That also then trains your people to some extent. And then from there on, you're getting trained up, right? And that way you can grow and scale much quicker, right? Because then you don't have to wait a month or two to train fully so that you can then bring people in, right? So you want to have a structure like that. That's going to really allow you to scale more quickly. So I'm going to keep you guys posted. Like you just saw, I have a bunch of agents that are already writing 10K a week, which is for me difficult because like I said, I'm foreign, so I just couldn't actually sell. I couldn't, right? And so now I'm starting. Meanwhile, my agents are fucking closing 10 times more than me. So there's some pressure on the fucking line there, right? But they know that I'm supporting them in ways. My buddy Nick is supporting them in the sales, right? But I'm supporting them in other ways. I'm giving them agents because I'm very good at other things already. And in this insurance game, I'm learning it whilst I'm going now. And I'm sure I'll be the top producer of the team very soon here. But obviously, I'm completely new to it. This week started. So let's see how next week goes. Definitely want to put up like 5K in AP for next week here. We're going to work hard to do it. And more locked in now. Less of the other shit going on. So we're going to be full time. I'm going to keep you guys posted next week with another video. Maybe I'll even drop one sooner. But those are a lot of the lessons. Okay, if you want to start this, I have a free video also you can check out at wolvesofinsurance.com. Okay, link in the description. Now, look, I just call it Wolves of Insurance because that's our culture, like the Wolf of Wall Street, without the illegal shit. A lot of people do a bunch of shady shit in this business, and I'm telling you guys, I grew up a certain type of way too. I did a bunch of shit when I was young too. That kind of stuff, it just doesn't last, okay? Even if you're completely selfish, you shouldn't do that because you're not building a business, okay? You're doing a fucking hustle that's only gonna last a year, and you're gonna be out the game, and you're gonna have to do some other shit, and you're gonna do the same shit again, and you're gonna fucking end up, either not making any money or much worse than that, okay? So with that being said, I really hope that you commit to this. Like, it's a great business, okay? It's a fantastic business, but it's not fucking easy. It's a tough business, but it'll make you grow like nothing else, okay? So lock in, get to work, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know if you have any questions. Check out the video, or you can hit me up on IG. It's @BoydHook, okay? I'll show you as well. You guys can chat to me on here anytime you want. And then from there on, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.